What is up, everybody? Welcome back once again to Hot Toys Hotline. As always, if you're new here, please consider subscribing to the channel. We have a current goal of 250 subscribers, and we're sitting at around 190, so help us get to that goal, because once we reach 250, as some of you may know, we will be giving away an Arkham series Harley Quinn hot toy on the channel. But anyways, a lot of you guys have been asking me, hey Hot Toys Hotline, when will you be doing some reviews? Well guys, I got a couple figures in, and today we're going to be doing one of these figures for our first review, and that figure is going to be the Threezero 1/6 scale Demogorgon from Stranger Things. Let's take it down to the light box and take a closer look at the figure and everything that he includes. Alright everybody, now here we are down in the light box with the Stranger Things Demogorgon by Threezero. I wanted to give you one more shot of him in the box before I free him from his cardboard prison. I feel like you guys probably don't want to watch me struggle with this giant box and try to get him out on camera, so I'm going to do that off camera. So I'll be right back and we will take a look at the figure and all of the accessories that are included in the box. And alright everybody, before we start taking a look at all of the accessories in the figure, I just wanted to show you how it came packaged when you remove it from the box. You can see it's multi-layered here, so once you pull off the Demogorgon, you do have the clamshell, which includes the display stand, the extra hands, the extra head sculpt, and the spare wrist pegs. I will be right back. I'll get everything taken out of the plastic and we'll take a look at the details. Well, believe it or not everybody, these are all the accessories that this Demogorgon includes. I also pulled out the instruction manual if you guys want to pause it and kind of take a look at this in case yours is missing. Here you go. But let's get that out of the way and let's take a look at some of the extras. I'm going to say right off the bat, this display stand is garbage. If you're a hot toy collector, you're used to pretty decent display stands. This one is not in that class. It has a weird little way of attaching it. You have to unscrew this screw here and screw it directly into the base. Also, I'll show you. I don't know if it's going to pick up on camera, but I have quite a bit of scratches and scuffs on mine already. Not a huge deal for me because it's just a stand. I will say I am a fan of this embossed Stranger Things logo. This looks really cool. It kind of has like a metallic effect to it. But I just don't think this is a very good stand. It kind of reminds me of that General Grievous stand that we got with the Sideshow General Grievous. Pretty trash in my opinion, but the thing is, due to the engineering of this figure, I've been told that you need this display stand. So I wish they would have focused on that a little more, because this is just a cheap little thin piece of plastic. I will assemble this off camera once we take a look at the figure, but I just wanted to show this to you up close and kind of give you an idea of what it's like. We do have some extra hands here with some visible claws. Really good detail on these hands and on the skin. I like that it has somewhat of like a slimy look to it. It looks like it is coming off on camera, but no complaints here in terms of detail. Threezero did a great job here with the details on this figure. Typically with creatures and non-human characters, they do a pretty good job, and I think they nailed it here with the look. I'll grab the other one so you can see it. It's basically the same hand, just on the other side. Again, I love how it looks slimy, and I think the details are great. You can see all the sculpted in detail on the hands, especially in that palm area. Looks really great, and you can see the Demogorgon has pretty long fingernails. Here is the alternate head sculpt. You can see that slimy detail that I was referring to on the hands is shown here on the head sculpt as well. In even greater detail in my opinion. But I probably will never use this head sculpt because the open mouth head sculpt is the iconic look for the Demogorgon, and it just looks way cooler, so probably won't use this one. And it does have a standard ball joint attachment for the head sculpt that we see with most 6 scale figures. And finally, we're almost to the end of the extras. You get 2 swap out wrist joints. But let me get the figure out of the box and let me put the stand together, and we'll take a look at the figure and I'll let you know what I think of it. Alright, and with my Demogorgon hunting flashlight in hand, I was able to fight off the Demogorgon long enough to get him out of the packaging and show you guys an up-close look at the details and the articulation on this figure. First off, I wanted to show you which is what, in my opinion, is the best part, is this beautiful head sculpt. I think Threezero has done a great job at sculpting in the individual teeth and also painting it to where it looks kind of wet in the mouth. In person, it comes off even more, but you can kind of see it on camera if I rotate it in the light. It looks amazing, and there's a ton of work that was put into this. So bravo, Threezero. I know they don't get the respect that they deserve sometimes, but that is not the case with this one, in my opinion. Moving down to the torso, you could see here no shortage of detail whatsoever. Whoever hand sculpted this, guys, they did a tremendous amount of work on this figure. Those ribs are kind of creepy looking, aren't they? It doesn't look like any normal rib, in my opinion. His neck almost looks like a tree trunk. I don't know if that's good or bad. In terms of the articulation, the ab crunch here, it does move a little bit, but I don't think it holds its position really well. That might be due to the fact that he's got a natural like slouch. I don't really think there needs to be much articulation there due to the type of character it is, but that's just my personal opinion. For those of you that are curious, this is like a rubber coating. You can kind of see it's a bit flexible. It doesn't feel cheap though. It feels very nice, and I will say the body underneath feels very nice. He's got some weight to him. In terms of articulation in the shoulders, we do have ratcheted joints. I will say there's a bit of a dead zone you could see here before we start hitting the teeth on the ratchets, but once you actually do, and let's get that sound, it's nice and solid, guys. You can see I'm wiggling it up and down. It is holding its position very well. The elbow joint is ratcheted as well. Not as strong of a ratchet, but it's still a very, very good ratcheted joint in my opinion. The shoulders kind of have that Hulk effect that we've seen with the Hot Toys Hulk and the Thanos, where you kind of have to like push it up and position it how you want it. But again, very nice ratchets. Same thing with the other arm. And I love that sound. Everybody loves the sound of the ratcheted joints. It's kind of like one of those guilty pleasures when it comes to 6-scale figures. In terms of the wrist, you don't have much articulation. It kind of moves up and down a little bit, but it is a bit limited. But that's okay. I think that's about enough to where you can get some cool posing with it. And of course, you can rotate it 360 however you want it. Here at the hip, you're kind of limited just based on how the figure is shaped in the hip area. It goes up quite far, but when you're going back, not so much. And I kind of get worried that it's going to start rubbing here, so I don't want to go too crazy with that, but definitely not bad at all. Knee joints. Now, I will say with these, I think they did a good job at hiding them, kind of due to the nature of the character and the way the legs are shaped. I think it looks pretty good. And actually the joint is hidden up in there. These are ratcheted as well, not a clicky ratchet joint like the shoulders, but very, very nice in my opinion. And down by the feet, this is probably the most limited area of articulation. This is all you really have with the feet. You can see you can't go anywhere up or down, just left and right. But yeah, guys, the details are incredible on this guy. Like I said, you could see the detail on the legs and the torso, like I said earlier. And even in the hands, like I showed in the beginning of the video, these are the hands that actually come on him in the box, and they look amazing. But I want to flip him over to the back real quick so we can see the sculpted in detail on the back. You could see an incredible amount of work has been put into the sculpt on this figure. It looks amazing in my opinion, even down to the well, I don't know if is this the upside down's ass perhaps. A lot of detail on the back, just like there is on the front, so they did a great job with this in my opinion. But let me throw them on the stand and then we'll compare them to another figure that I have in my collection so you can get an idea of size. So I thought to myself, what better way to give you an idea of size and scale than to compare him with the Hot Toys A New Hope Chewbacca, which is another large creature figure in many of our collections. And I will say, guys, he absolutely towers over him. If you have a DTOF shelf, you may have issues getting him to fit standing up. You'll probably have to get him crouching down pretty low to get him to fit inside your DTOF, because as you know, the Chewbacca is already barely cutting it as it is. I will say, guys, the stand that comes with him is pretty crap. I had a hard time getting the screw to screw in all the way. I actually had to use a power drill because my precision screwdriver wasn't cutting it. It just would not budge. So definitely some points taken off for that. Thankfully, the figure is awesome. He's massive, he's menacing, and very well detailed, so I can look past the display stand. But let's cut to the posing portion of the video where I show you what the figure looks like in different poses and display him with some of the other accessories, and then we will return to the main camera and I will give you my final thoughts.
Well, let's get into my final thoughts on the 1/6 scale Demogorgon from Stranger Things by Threezero. Let's start by talking about price. This guy retails for $249 before taxes and shipping if you're purchasing from Sideshow in the US. They do currently, at the time of this filming, have a 10% off code on that guy, so that gets you a nice little discount. I will say, even with that retail price of $249, I think this guy is very worth it if you're a fan of the Stranger Things series, as I am. Again, the biggest detractor on this figure, in my opinion, is the display base. That display base is garbage. I don't think I've seen anyone say that they enjoy using it or it's easy to pose the figure with. Honestly, it's kind of scary even having him spinning around on here because I feel like he's going to fall over, but hey, you got to do it for the video, right? But with that being said, guys, I do think this is a wonderful figure. I think Threezero really put their time and effort into this guy. It is a crazy amount of engineering that goes into him because if you look at the Demogorgon as a design, he's kind of inherently flawed and it's kind of tough to get him to stand without this display stand. So I think they did a great job and I think it's a really nice figure. I think the body is very substantial. It does not feel cheap. And I am not worried too much about the rubber skin. I know that's going to be a question from a lot of you because it seems like the Ninja Turtles figures that they did many years ago from Threezero are holding up just fine. So that's my review on the Threezero Demogorgon from Stranger Things, guys. Definitely recommend picking this one up if you are a Stranger Things fan. There are some other figures in this line as well. I know the 11 just started shipping, and we also have Lucas, Sinclair, and Dustin in the lineup as well. I'm going to be grabbing those. I already have 2 of them on pre-order. I just have to grab Lucas. But I'm really excited for this line. I hope Threezero does more. I am happy that a manufacturer as reputable as Threezero was able to get the license for the Stranger Things line. I hope they continue to do more. We've seen it with the Game of Thrones line. They're willing to do a bunch of different characters and even sometimes multiple versions of different characters from different seasons. So I hope Stranger Things gets the same treatment. I will have a referral link in the description below if you want to help support me and help me buy more figures to review and show off on the channel. I will drop one for the Demogorgon as well as all of the other Stranger Things figures currently available for pre-order and or in stock from this line. Keep an eye out on the channel, guys, because I do have another review that I've already filmed that most likely will release next week. And as always, we will be live on Thursday at 7:30 p.m. EST with the boys hanging out, talking about figures. So if you can make it out, definitely stop by and hang out with us on a nice Thursday night. Also, guys, of course, drop a like on this video if you enjoyed this review. And let me know in the comments below what you think of this figure and are you going to be buying into this Stranger Things line at all? That's all I got. Have a great night, everybody. Take care.